Who said lawyers don't know maths? Who told you lawyers do not know maths? There's a decision on when elections should be conducted, general election, by Honorable Lady Justice Mugure Thande. This decision is purely mathematics, purely tabulation, purely calculations. Why this decision actually? So High Court, Constitutional Court, has declared that elections should be conducted in August 2026. Basically, we are saying that elections should be conducted next week. We should have our general election next week based on this decision, though it was suspended because of the impracticability and other reasons that were stated by the judge. But speaking plainly, we should have our election next week, being the second Tuesday of August of the 5th year. Why are we saying so? And as per the judgment, let's see. When should we have our general election? Article 136 of the Constitution, specifically Article 136 2A, states that the president shall be elected on the same day as members of parliament, being the second Tuesday of August in every 5th year. That in every 5th year is very important, and it actually informs the decision by Honorable Lady Justice Thande. Why so? The Constitution says in every 5th year, not after the 5th year. So the election should be conducted in the 5th year. And that duration of the 5th year is when general election should be conducted, not after the 5th year. But then there were arguments that, presidential term limit states that president should serve for a period of 5 years. Who told you? Which law? If you come the Constitution, if you come the Election Act, if you come IBC Act, Political Parties Act, etc., any law that relates to elections, you will not find a single provision stating that a president should serve for a period of 5 years. Not a single one. And let's read Article 142. Article 142, 1 and 2 of the Constitution, specifically Clause 2, state that a person shall not hold office as a president for more than 2 terms. That provision talks about 2 terms. You cannot vie after you've exhausted your 2 terms. It does not state or provide that 1 term should be equal to 5 years. Nothing like that. And so the argument that president, if you hold election next week, then the president will not have served 5 years is baseless, unfounded. No law states that you should serve for 5 years. In fact, do you know that President Kenyatta, Uhuru, served for 4 years and 5 months after 2013 election? In 2017 election, the election was conducted when President Kenyatta had served for 4 years and 5 months. The problem occurred in 2022. We ought not to have had our election in 2022. We ought to have had that election in 2021 if the correct tabulation would have been used at the moment. How does these tabulations work around? Let me show you how this works. In 2022, we held our election on 9th August. Now, if we start calculating, the time started running on 9th of August when we had finished election. Now, the first year ran between 9th August 2022 to 8th of August 2023. That was the first year. The second year started on 9th August 2023 and ran up to 8th August 2024. Then the third started on 9th August 2024 to 9th August 2025. And the fourth year started on 9th August 2025 to midnight 8th August 2026. Now, by midnight of 8th of August 2026, we shall have exhausted all the 4 years. Now, by 9th August of 2026, we are already in the 5th year. Now, the election should be conducted in that 5th year. But the question is, should it be conducted at the commencement of the 5th year or at the end of the 5th year? Because in the 5th year, which now starts on 9th August 2026, there are 2 Augusts. There's the August of 2026 and the August of 2027. These 2 Augusts fall within the 5th year. The August of 2027 is within the 5th year. The August of 2026, which we've started, is in the 5th year. Now the question is, these 2 August, when should we conduct our election then? If we conduct our election in the 1st August and conduct it in this 2nd August, there's no problem because both of them fall within the 5th year. There's a problem, but there's no problem. We just go back to the constitution, which the judge did. When does the time start? When do we commence? How do we calculate it, the commencement? And the judge relied on Article 259.5 in calculating when should the time start, commence. And Article 259 states, in calculating time between 2 events, if time is expressed as years, which we're talking about now, years, then the period of time ends at the beginning of the date of the relevant year that corresponds the date on which the period began. At the end, it ends at the beginning. So in this case, our period ends on 8th August. Now, beginning of 9th August, that is when the time starts, and that's when election should be conducted as per that tabulation. So in other words, when it begins, the commandments is when it begins and not at the time it ends. So it should be on the 1st August of 2026 and not the 2nd August, which falls on 2027. But there were other arguments again in this case that, for MCAs, the Constitution specifically provides under Article 177 that MCA should serve for 5 years. That's true. But according to the judge, the election of any member, parliament, or any position, whether you are a governor, MCA, or a president, your election is pegged on the day of election of members of parliament. If you check Article 177 on election of MCA, it states that Article 177(1)(a) that MCA should be elected on the same day as the election of members of parliament, which is on the 2nd of Tuesday of August of every 5th year. Same applies to president and the same applies to the governors. We said under Article 142, Article 136, that president shall be elected on the same day as a member of parliament, being the 2nd Tuesday of August or in the 5th year. Now, there's only one question.